The African National Congress will be marking 100 days since the Government of National Unity took office. Today, the party will host an event which will be led by President Cyril Ramaphosa and is expected to be attended by 10,000 members and supporters to reflect on the successes and the failures of the party under the GNU. The ANC spokesperson, Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri, now joins us for these conversations. Mahlengi, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Is the ANC a bit too late to the party around the 100 days of the Government of National Unity, considering that you have the other members of the Government of National Unity already having given their reflections because the 100 days have actually passed?
Well, actually, there are different interpretations of what constitutes 100 days in office, so I wouldn't really dwell on that. And I want to just say that the reason we're doing it now as we do it has a lot to do with the kind of reflection that the ANC needed to do internally through its National Executive Committee. We are now at a point where we are comfortable to give that reflection and to give an account to the people of South Africa through the message that the President will deliver this evening.
Yeah, what should we expect from that message? What will that message be touching on?
Well, the message certainly will speak to what the foundation that was laid by the sixth administration, how it has enabled certain things to unfold and manifest in the seventh administration. It will also speak to the 100 days insofar as, for example, look at what we have accomplished, stability in the area of energy security. Yesterday, we were marking 200 days without load shedding in South Africa, which is a significant feat by many standards. So those are some of the things that are going to be spoken about, and about how we intend for government to sustain the path that it is on in the ANC-led Government of Unity. We would also speak about transformation legislation, because as the ANC, we need to assure our support base, we need to assure the people of South Africa, particularly those that have always voted for the ANC on the basis of the strength of its transformation policies and legislation, which is why we have the Bella Bill, which is why we're talking about universal coverage via the National Health Insurance, and many other pieces of legislation that must be seen through to conclusion by way of those being implemented and being a lived reality. And we will give that assurance to the people of South Africa about the fact that just because we lead a government of national unity, the laws that have been passed by a democratic parliament will not be changed. In fact, we need to be accelerating. I'm just using those two examples. We'll also, of course, speak about, I'm sure President will reflect on strides that are being made daily by our police services to help us tackle the scourge of crime, and more broadly, the work that's been done by law enforcement agencies to tackle the scourge of corruption. We've seen a lot of arrests. We've seen a lot of police visibility in the last while, and we've seen, and it's been happening at the same time as tragedies have been happening, children being poisoned in schools, spaza shops that are unregulated needing to receive urgent attention. But more broadly, I wish to say South Africans are saying we are now beginning to really tackle the issue of crime with the energy that it requires. Those are just some of the examples that I can speak to. He will speak overall to the elections manifesto of the ANC and what it is that we are doing, manifesto priority by manifesto priority. And some of the things I've mentioned have a lot to do with how we are implementing the ANC manifesto.
Yeah, actually, the President has also now issued a statement. This is now on the weekly Monday statements that the President normally shares with the nation. And he speaks about the polls indicating the level of confidence in the Government of National Unity, the Ipsos poll in particular, and how this is also a reflection that society has now also rallied behind the Government of National Unity. But then on the other part, Mahlengi, it is that even within the ANC itself and its alliance partners, we understand that the SACP has declined the invitation to attend today's ceremony, that there are divisions and people who still believe that it was the wrong decision for the ANC to come up with this strategic position around the government of national unity?
Thank you. Let me tackle the first part about the SACP's not wanting to honor the invite to the reflections on the 100 days of the ANC-led government of national unity. And I do want to just correct what was attributed to the SACP, suggesting that it is a celebration. It cannot be a celebration. It's a way of accounting to our people through the voice of the president. There is nothing to be celebrating about, because government must be working and working, with the vigor that it requires. So I do wish to clarify that there is no such a thing as the ANC celebrating anything. If anything, of course, we will also thank those that voted the African National Congress, as we should. Back to the issue of a discord within our ranks as a result of the decision to constitute the government of national unity. I do wish to remind you that there have been many experiences in history where the ANC was confronted with difficult decisions that needed to be made on the basis of what we normally in the ANC refer to as material conditions that we are faced with at any given moment. I recall that in the early 90s, when there was a negotiation, where there was a debate about how we should position ourselves in negotiating a democratic future, democratic South Africa, there was a lot of debate about whether the way we went about it, including sunset clauses, were the ideal way of securing the bag, in the sense of ensuring that all the aims of for which people went into exile and others lost their lives, that we can still accomplish all of those things that were fought for. But the decision had to be made, and the decision was made despite that discord. We're a big organization. We are bound not to have people moving, all of them, in one same direction. But I do want to say that the ANC Center has held, which is why we are seeing a lot of groundswell, including among our members. And I just wish to reference the Social Research Foundation finding that says that based on their recent survey, that says that members and supporters of the ANC have rallied behind the the ANC-led government of national unity. So it is possible that a minority view can get peddled so much that it seems like there is a groundswell. I did wish to point that out.
Yeah, and again, if we look, for instance, at that letter that the Secretary General of the ANC sent to Panyaza Lesufi about his remarks, and of course he later on clarified those, and he says that this is now the SG of the ANC, that the top 7 of the ANC understood the explanation that came from Panyaza Lesufi. But what was intriguing for me is a question around whether this means that any ANC senior member or senior leader who speaks out against the government of national unity would in fact be bringing the party into disrepute, and therefore disciplinary action should be taken against that individual. Is that the stance that the ANC is taking?
Well, you know, what is a problematic here is when the matter of government, our participation in our leadership of the government of national unity is positioned as a special thing. The ANC has got its own protocols, internal protocols, for how we handle dissent and for how we handle decision-making, for how we our lower structures are become enjoined to a decision that has been taken at a national level. This participation in the government of national unity is nothing different. It's like any other decision that the ANC takes. We expect our members to align because these things happen in the context of discussion internally. It's not something that the NEC just cares about.
Mahlengi, apologies there. I don't know if you are blocking your mouthpiece. If you can just quickly try to remove your hand from the mouthpiece. Okay, sure, you can go ahead.
Okay, I hope you can hear me now.
Much better. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Aldrin. So I do think that we must not allow a narrative that suggests that our participation in the ANC-led government of national unity should be treated as a special case. It is like any other difficult decision and a tactical decision that was taken by the African National Congress, for which we expect our leaders and our members to respect and pay due allegiance to. one of our principles, which is democratic centralism. We've applied this for years ad infinitum, and it has worked for an organization as massive as the African National Congress.
Sure. So does this mean that any ANC leader who speaks out against the GNU would be insubordination or would be accused of undermining the decision that has been taken by the party and therefore brought the party into disrepute and disciplinary actions must then flow? Is that the stance of the ANC?
Well, like any other decision of the ANC, our members know that any member that is worth its salt in the ANC knows that when you are dissatisfied with a particular decision, you ventilate it within the structures. So yes, we will frown upon any attempt at undermining the cohesion and the organizational unity of the ANC by going and ventilating the things in public or using the media. It will be frowned upon because, like any other policy, we shouldn't expect our members to really be a law unto themselves. There is protocol, there's discipline in the ANC, there's a constitution that directs what it is that a National Executive Committee, a National Working Committee should do in between conferences.
Okay, one of the policies that the ANC prides itself in promoting an inclusive economy is BEE. The new Minister of Communication and Digital Technologies, Solly Malatsi, has indicated that he will publish a new policy direction to ICASA so that Starlink can bypass the broad-based black economic empowerment policy of the country, that 30% of the company would need to be owned by previously disadvantaged group or entrepreneurs. What's the ANC's reflection on this? Is this a deviation from your policy position?
We have a study group in Parliament, as well as, of course, we have the portfolio committee on the same area of work, where we expect that there will be an analysis of the implications of the statement by Minister Malatsi. Anything that seeks to set back or dilute the broad-based black economic empowerment legislation will be met with the same energy as I indicated, that we committed to our people that during the GNU, there will be no reversal of transformative policies and legislations that have been taken. Now, BEE is very significant. That we may understate its impact in terms of propelling black people into various sectors of the economy and in terms of growing the middle class, in terms of a whole lot of things that it has allowed women to be able to own companies, to be able to actually break the glass ceiling alongside employment equity. So we will work very hard to defend all of the legislations that have been put since democracy.
Thank you so much for your time, Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri, who is the spokesperson for the ANC.